Next time you're at the Lloyd Mall, you'll have the opportunity to check out its newest feature and maybe even some books too. With more, here's Tate Laycraft.
To officially grand open the new library.
Organizers, MLAs, and members of the media were invited to the Lloyd Mall Thursday morning for the grand opening of the new Lloydminster Public Library. The new location seeks to benefit from an easier train of access, as Mayor Gerald Albers spoke to a simple but important perk.
We're at ground level now. People had to use stairs or an elevator to access the former library. Now you're able to walk in at ground level.
Among other features at the library are study pods, meeting spaces, as well as a creative maker space.
The maker space is a space where we can have creativity, get a little messy, run some STEM programs, STEAM programs, and that. So we're hoping to populate it with a bunch of equipment and activities that the public will really enjoy.
After flooding at the mall delayed the library's move-in date, the official opening provides a certain relief for library staff.
Again, I am proud of the work I've done, and I'm proud of the work that everyone has done, and I am proud of this space.
As a cherry on top, both Duchek and Mayor Albers included some reading suggestions as motivation for people to visit the library.
Right now, I am a Tom Clancy fan, so you can tell that's where I'll likely circle that way.
I stayed up late last night reading a book because I'm a bad girl. I read, it's called State of Terror. It's by Louise Penny and Hillary Rodham Clinton.
The library is open 7 days a week and is located on the west side of the Lloyd Mall. For PrimeTime Local News, I'm Tate Laycraft.
Now, for the very first time, here's our Tate Laycraft for a close look at your weather forecast.
Yes, thank you very much, Shelby. This is my first time doing a full weather segment, so please spare me if you will. But starting off with some current temperatures in the border city, it's sitting at about -4 right now. With the wind chill, it feels more like -10, but moving on forward around the region. Starting here on the west end of things in Edmonton, it's about 1 degree currently. In Bonnyville, -5. Cold Lake sits at -4, while St. Paul is at -6. Lac La Biche is -1. Meanwhile, a little bit further south in Vermilion, it's -2, and it's the same temperature in Wainwright. Switching over to the other side, however, we're going to take a look at things in Saskatchewan out east. In Pierceland, it's about -5 currently. In Green Lake, it's the same temperature. Isle of Lacrosse up north, it's -8. In Meadow Lake, it's -5. St. Walburg, it's -7. But moving on a little bit forward here to North Battleford, taking a look at current temperatures, it's about -8 where things stand right now. Overnight, it's expected to dip as low as -16, and tomorrow people can expect -7. Jumping forward once again, if we will, yes, there we go. In Cold Lake, it's currently -2 degrees. Overnight, it will dip to -15, and tomorrow things are going to get a little bit warmer. I guess it'll be similar to where things were today. -1 is what the expectation is. Then taking a look at Lloydminster right here, it's currently -4 overnight. It will dip to -14, and tomorrow it's expected to hit -2. Then taking a look at your 3-day forecast here in Lloyd. Friday, we're expecting a high of -2, a low of -14. Saturday, -3 and -4. Sunday, it will be -1 and -5 with the wind chill. It will be a little bit colder on that Sunday. It's supposed to get to -21, so you're going to want to bundle up. Then a quick look, we'll skip ahead to your overnight temperatures. Here's a quick look. We're going to wrap things up quickly here. You can expect more news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. The AFSC Agri Recovery Program is open for applications. Our Thomas Wildman talked to Ed Tenhove about the program.
We're talking to Ed Tenhove, the product coordinator at AFSC, and we're talking about the Agri Recovery Program that AFSC has been running this past year. So, Ed, could you please just give us an overview of the Agri Recovery Program?
Absolutely. The Agro Recovery Program is the Canada-Alberta Livestock Feed Assistance Initiative. It's a program designed to sort of look at the additional costs placed on, the breeding herd producers of Alberta due to the drought and the high temperatures of the summer and fall of 2021. So it's like all ag recoveries, it's a federal and provincial initiative that's funded 60% by the federal government, 40% by the government of Alberta.
Ed, which producers are going to be able to apply for this program?
So the producers that we encourage to apply for this, it's producers who own grazing animals, and it's the breeding females of the herd that are eligible for compensation. So, obviously beef cows come to mind, but it's for any of the breeding animals that are grazing. So, sheep, elk, bison, some of those apply as well. Also, the program covers beekeepers and some of the challenges they've faced as well. So the beekeepers of Alberta also can apply and should understand the program.
And so, Ed, could you just give us an overview of the application process for Agri Recovery?
Absolutely. This program was rolled out in sort of two stages. So phase one, the initial payment was sent out to the owners of the breeding animals. So depending on the animal, for cows, it was $94 a head, and that was different on the different species that were applied for. It was kind of prorated. So now we're into phase two, where the producers now have to submit some information to us. So there's two parts again to this secondary payment. The feed need model, which covers the costs of the producers from when they had to change their normal management practice of the herd, and then the extraordinary expenses. So what are the other things that producers had to deal with this year in order to maintain their herds through the drought and high temperatures? And those would be related basically to arranging feed or arranging water for the herd. So things like temporary fencing, additional feed purchases, etc. So also in phase two is where the beekeepers come into play. So beekeepers who had to purchase pollen patties or SERP to maintain their hives are also eligible to apply under phase two.
When is the deadline for the application process?
So the deadline for phase two is the end of the day, Monday, January 31st. So this coming Monday. It's important that producers get this information into us by the deadline. We want to make sure they understand it, and we want to make sure they have their information in on time. So go to our website, look for the information, but end of day Monday, January 31st is the deadline to apply.
Thank you so much, Ed, for talking to us today about the Agri Recovery Program.
Thank you very much. And I would just encourage producers, make sure they understand what it means to them. Our website, afsc.ca, a lot of information there. Reach out and talk to us about it.
Now, here are your agricultural prices for today. On to the world of sports. Over the past month and a half, 4 local hockey teams challenged one another. The goal? Collect as many pajamas as possible for Project PJ by Olivia. Evan Kenny has more on how the challenge went.
Rather than working on the ice, a number of Lloydminster minor hockey teams have been working off the ice. The U18 and U16 Bobcats, along with the U18 and U15 Steelers, have been collecting pajamas since the end of November. Wrapping up earlier this month, 675 PJs in total were collected.
It is crazy knowing the fact, like last year I only had 508, and now just from these hockey teams in the hockey leagues I have over 600. That's unbelievable. First of all, having them help is like huge. Without the hockey team last year, like we definitely got less PJ, so this is incredible.
The idea of teams challenging one another came from Inland Steel Bobcats assistant captain Jaden Plamondon.
Yeah, the 1 year in Bantam we did it, and it worked out really well, so I thought, why not do it again and just challenge all the other elite teams to this?
In the 7th year of Project PJ, one thing's for certain: the community support is not going away.
Project PJ is not just me. I might be the face of it, but it's really our community. Like, those people are buying the PJs. They're coming together. Everybody's helping me. Teams are helping me. My school's helping me. Other schools are helping me. Other cities are helping me. It's insane, that sense of community and help, and it's just so great.
It was very good to see all the amount of people donated to us, to the stallery. It's crazy to see all that.
3 teams from outside of the Lakeland region also contributed: the Sherwood Park Kings, the Leduc Oil Kings, and the Southside Athletic Club in Edmonton. While the hockey teams are done fundraising, Project PJ is still taking donations with a number of drop-off locations around Lloyd. Evan Kenny, PrimeTime Local Sports.
And for another look at temperatures around the provinces, I'll throw it now to Tate Laycraft.
All right, let's give this a second shot, shall we? We'll start out west, taking a look at Lac La Biche. It's at -1. Cold Lake sitting at -2. Bonnyville, meanwhile, sitting at -5. St. Paul, 1 degree higher at -6. Edmonton looking pretty warm over there. It's currently 1 degree Celsius. Vegreville at -5. Vermilion -2. And Wainwright also -2. But switching over, taking a look at things out east. Isle La Crosse sitting -8 currently where we stand. Green Lake's at -5. Pierceland the same. Meadow Lake is at -7 while Marwayne is at -4. Lloydminster, where we're at right now, also -4 as well. Same with Maidstone. North Battleford looking a little bit colder at -8. Jumping ahead here, though, taking a closer look at the next 24 hours in North Battleford. It's currently -8 overnight. It's expected to dip to -16. And tomorrow, it's going to be about the same as it was today, or currently rather. -7 is the expectation. Cold Lake currently -2 degrees. Overnight, again, similar to North Battleford, we're expecting it to drop to -15. And tomorrow, it should warm up overnight, getting all the way to -1. Then another look at things in the border city right here. Currently -4 overnight. It will drop 10 degrees to -14. And tomorrow we can expect a temperature of roughly -2. Not too shabby, really, if you ask me. Nationally, let's take a look out west in Whitehorse. It's about -2 right now. In Vancouver, things are looking beautiful. 4 degrees over there. Edmonton, as we previously mentioned, is at 1 degree. Regina, of course, at -10. And up north, Yellowstone, it looks like we're sitting at 19 or -19 degrees there. Then taking a look out east in Winnipeg, things are pretty chilly. -20 is where things stand right now. Quebec City, it's a little bit warmer. It's about -14 there. Up north in Iqaluit, -23. That looks like it's about as bad as it gets in the country or on this display right now. St. John's at -7 and Halifax at -13. Then taking a look at your 7-day forecast. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, things aren't going to be too bad. The coldest it will get is Friday at -14. Saturday and Sunday, that sun will continue to shine through some clouds. On Monday, things start to turn as a high of -9 is slotted for that day, a low of -10. Then on Tuesday and Wednesday, it will get colder, a high of -21 and -23 respectively. Wednesday, it will dip off more with a more potential for some cold temperatures. -33 is the slotted temp there. And then on Thursday, we can expect a high of -18 and a low of -27. That is all the time we have for right now, though. You can expect some more news coming up next. I'm Tate Laycraft.
Joining us for Primetime Local News is Elizabeth Robinson with ABC Life Literacy Canada, and we are here speaking on Family Literacy Day that is today. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we appreciate you being able to speak with us. Now, what is this year's campaign that ABC Life Literacy Canada wants to focus on?
Sure. So Family Literacy Day is a Canada-wide initiative that's really just trying to draw attention to the fact that learning happens best when it happens, with the people that we love, the people that we live with, whoever you consider to be family. And so there's great learning opportunities to be found by people from multiple generations coming together and engaging in learning activities as a group.
When it comes to the pandemic and with children struggling to learn through this time, what advice would you give for parents to help support them the best way that they can?
Yeah, absolutely. The pandemic has been a really stressful time for children, for students, and their parents. And one thing to remember is that stress doesn't create a great learning environment. So the more you can do to make learning in your home relaxed, relevant, free from some of that stress, the better it's going to be. Part of the reason that we chose our theme for this year, Learning in the Great Outdoors, is that getting outside is a great way to sort of change up your environment, explore some new things, to exercise your mind and your body at the same time. So it's a little bit of a break from Zoom classroom and these kinds of things that might be wearing on people at this time.
Would you be able to expand on this Activate Learning and Youth Teaching Adults program and how it's aiming to benefit families?
Sure. So ABC has a ton of programming that's really aimed at thinking about learning across the age spectrum and across generations. So through our Activate Learning program, we have tons of resources for families designed to help you sort of give you easy to access exercises and activities that you can do together at home as a family. So if you're wanting to engage in more learning with the members of your household, but a little busy or tired to think about activities yourself, we have great ready to use resources that draw on common objects that you're likely to have around your home already. So that's ready to go and easy to use. Our Youth Teaching Adults program is really focused on intergenerational learning and knowing that people build confidence and leadership by teaching others. And that so frequently in families today, you have younger members of the family who know more and understand more about technology than their elders, their parents, or maybe their grandparents. And so it can be a great way for everyone to increase their digital skills and to bond together as a family by thinking about teaching grandma how to use Netflix or sort of working together through Minecraft or whatever technology you're excited about.
And for people out there watching that are interested in this, where can they go to learn more info and access these resources?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find great downloadable resources to share with your family at abcactivatelearning.ca. And if you're looking to improve your digital skills, I would highly recommend you check out youth-teaching-adults.ca.
Is there anything else you'd like to add for people to be more aware of and what they can learn for this year's Family Literacy Day?
Just to wish everyone a happy Family Literacy Day and hope that you can find even just 10 or 15 minutes to spend with your family today learning something new.
Perfect. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Elizabeth.
Thank you for having me.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm joined here with Terry Barber, who will be performing the music of Andrew Lloyd Webber at the Vic Juba Community Theatre here in Lloydminster on February 10th. Thank you so much, Terry, for joining us today.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
My first question for you is, do you mind telling us about some of the music in the show?
So this is the music of Andrew Lloyd Webber, which out of all my tour programs is probably the most performed and requested. The thing I love about Lloyd Webber repertoire is that when you look at any one composer, they tend to have a style, and people tend to like, kind of this one style that it fits with. But when we look at Andrew Lloyd Webber, you can really be a fan of musical theater, or maybe a fan of classical music, or maybe even a fan of rock, and have something in this program by Andrew Lloyd Webber for you. So I'll be singing songs from many different shows, kind of the hits of Andrew Lloyd Webber. So of course you're going to hear Memory from Cats, and some things from Phantom of the Opera, which is the longest running show on Broadway, from Jesus Christ Superstar, from Evita, so many different shows, but kind of certainly the highlights. So I hope that when people come to the show, they're going to hear that song that they were hoping to hear. And then there are a couple of things I'd like to potentially introduce them to. Maybe a song that they leave with that might be a new favorite, where they think, wow, this is as great as anything else Lloyd Webber has written, but maybe it's not one that I knew as well.
Now, is this just one show or is it on a tour?
It's on a tour, and I've got Grace Field, who's going to be with me. She won a Tony a couple of seasons ago now for her work with Broadway Inspirational Voices. They're the first vocal ensemble to ever win a Tony, and with Broadway Inspirational Voices, not only did she make her Broadway debut in the 25th anniversary production that was televised of the Disney's kind of celebration of Disney, really, on Broadway, which was hosted by Whoopi Goldberg. And then she also, with Broadway Inspirational Voices, sang with Hugh Jackman on the Today Show. So Grace is a phenomenal talent. She's a soprano that can sing everything from kind of popular styles to legit, and she plays the piano. So she'll be joining me, and we'll be doing some duets, and so they'll get to hear her as well.
Now, I know it's been very difficult for performers the past few years. How important do you feel it is to have performances like these during COVID-19?
Of course, the world needs the arts for so many reasons. And, you know, my biggest goal always as an artist is to elicit emotion, to help people feel, right? So we're going to be on a wild ride in this show, from things that are really touching, romantic, certainly heartwarming and sad, and and hilarious. So we're kind of going to be on a wild ride. And I feel like a lot of us cope with some of the most difficult things that we go through in life through the arts. It allows us to express and experience all these emotions, and it's very therapeutic. So, you know, getting together with a group of people to have a shared experience is also unique to the arts. It's not something that you do when you're watching something on television, and it's something special. So we really need this, and we need to get back to it. And having that living, breathing audience is something special and different for the artists too. It's not replaceable. So.
And what inspired you to choose Broadway songs for this tour?
I love singing musical theater. I started out in my undergraduate program doing a musical theater education as part of it at Northwestern University. And I feel like whether I'm doing classical or rock or musical theater, all of the text and subtext is some of the most important part. That's my dog in the background chiming in. He agrees. But yeah, this musical theater is a fun genre to perform. And again, you know, in this, Andrew Lloyd Webber in particular has so much variety within his composition that allows me to kind of show off some of my classical training and classical love. And my countertenor voice, because countertenor is the rarest voice type, and so I'll be showing off a little bit about that, what that is, but also in the kind of traditional musical theater styles that you expect of Broadway. You know, we're going to hear some of that, and then there are things like Jesus Christ Superstar, for example, where you really are wondering, is this rock? How did we get from here, musical theater, to here? So, you know, I like to perform this program in particular because of the range. It's very entertaining. It's not just kind of one sound for an hour and a half. You know what I mean? So it allows us to take a journey together.
How does it feel to be able to be doing a career that you love and you're passionate about?
Sometimes I pinch myself, I have to say. I have made a career doing what I love. And especially since 2013, when I stopped auditioning for other people's companies and started controlling the material that I tour, what I think my audience wants to hear, and hiring the folks that I want to work with, that I'm inspired by, and that I think will be captivating for the audiences, I really have enjoyed it even more. Because in this, I'm kind of the producer and the casting director, the writer of the show, and the lead artist. So it's very rewarding. And I guess I'm living the dream, if you have to say it in some terms.
Well, thank you so much. That's all the questions I have for you today. So I really appreciate you joining me here today.
I'm so glad that you're doing this.
Taking one last look at some weather here, just at overnight temperatures throughout the region. They will range between -17 and -13, the worst of which is expected in Isle La Crosse, and the best of which in Provost, as well as Meadow Lake. But lastly here, taking a final look at your 7-day forecast. Friday through Sunday, we've got some similar temperatures in there. The worst of it will come on Monday as the high of -10 and a high of -9 and a low of -10. Tuesday through Thursday, expect some colder temperatures with a high of -23 on Wednesday and a low of -33. But now we'll toss back to Shelby.
Thanks so much for that, Tate. You did a great first time for your first time for weather. And thank you all for joining us on Primetime Local News. You can catch us again on the next hour on CITL.